First, I want to give a shout out to the artist who made that thumbnail, Cryotic Sketches. I will leave a link to his Instagram in the description below. Welcome to my early review for Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter 103. Thanks to Ragnarok for the scanlations. This chapter is going to be a history-making chapter because this is the final chapter of Dragon Ball Super that was written when Toriyama was still alive. So he's the co-writer with Toyotaro. And presumably, as of right now, we do not know what else Toriyama had his hands on, but somebody I spoke to recently who would know stated that they believe that the manga crew, like Toyotaro and Uchida, that they knew Toriyama was sick and they already had plans on what to do in case something happened. But nevertheless, what we know for certain is that this chapter was written and finished while Toriyama was alive, and it's the first chapter to be released after his passing. Dragon Ball Super will be taking a break next month, unspecified as to the length of the break, but it's basically being done, from what I understand, to give Toyotaro a break and for them to reset the battery about what they're doing next. So I will keep you up to date here on the Geekdom 101 channel about what's happening with the Dragon Ball Super manga and what the next story is going to be. Whether it be something before the end of Z they're going to squeeze in, or something after the end of Z, or maybe they're going to just do the end of Z. Nevertheless, this chapter 103 is the finale of the manga version of Dragon Ball Super Superhero. This chapter is the end. This chapter is the conclusion, and boy, what a conclusion it was. Tons of action in this chapter, some interesting new revelations. We're going to get to all of that here on this review. As I said, this is an early review with the translations, and the chapter will be out officially from Viz on the 20th. So I will be back on that day to stream with you guys here on the channel. We're going to talk all about the chapter and what's coming up next for Dragon Ball. That's coming up this Wednesday. But in the meantime, let me give you my thoughts on this chapter. So the chapter picks up right where the last one leaves off, which is Beast Gohan versus Ultra Instinct Goku. And they're going at it. There's a lot of power being shown here. Goku is being severely tested here by his own son. There's some badassery going on here. These guys are just going, toe to toe. Goku doing the superhero pose like we all love. And here is where Goku actually acknowledges that Gohan has changed. That this Gohan is sharper, he's stronger, and better than he's ever been before. I know a lot of Dragon Ball fans are not going to like the fact that Gohan got this kind of a power boost, because I feel like a lot of people think he didn't earn them, and I totally understand. But if you watch my transformation guide on Gohan Beast, this was somewhat subtly foreshadowed earlier in Dragon Ball, going back to even Dragon Ball Z. Not even Super. Super did foreshadow some of it, but really it was back in Z. So this is definitely Gohan's ultimate form. So thanks to Piccolo, Gohan is at his absolute best. Now, at this point, Goku decides to take the fight more seriously and raises his energy. So he's still in the silver-haired Ultra Instinct, but he's taking it seriously. He's upping his speed. He's able to go behind Gohan and nail him with a big blow to the back. We saw this in the drafts that came out earlier this week. Well, not this week, but, last Wednesday. And Gohan was nailed by that shot, but Gohan kept coming. Gohan in this fight was throwing some absolute fast hands. But remember the trick about Ultra Instinct. It's the body moving on its own. It's the mastery of self-movement. So Goku's speed is going to be at its absolute best because his body is moving on its own. And as I've talked about time and time again on numerous videos on this channel, even if Gohan is stronger physically, Goku has the more experience. And that's something Vegeta himself notes, is that Goku is just way more experienced than Gohan, and Ultra Instinct is a very difficult technique to overcome. Goku explains this to Gohan. He tells Gohan straight up that this is the incredible speed and power of Ultra Instinct, but Gohan explains to him that his beast form is not quite that. And that's something that this chapter really took its time to illustrate. We'll talk more about this later, and that is the differences between Beast and Ultra Instinct and kind of how those techniques or transformations in this case, work. So then Gohan begins to power up. He starts to power up, and I'm talking about this power up the way the art is in the manga and the way it looks reminded me of Goku going SS3 against Majin Buu. That long power up with all the energy coming to Gohan. Gohan begins to basically absorb from the air the particles of energy, igniting them, and it's a giant mass of ki that is such big amounts of ki that Gohan is having trouble controlling it, or at least Vegeta thinks so. But this ki gives Gohan a speed boost. So Gohan moves in extremely quickly and starts to go all out against Goku's Ultra Instinct. I absolutely love these panels. I don't think Toyotaro has quite learned how to make the manga flow the same way Toriyama has done back in the day, but his improvement is there, and so is his art, because he is legitimately going in on Goku. Goku having a hard time dodging and blocking. At one point he does block, but at one point Gohan Beast does indeed go through Goku's defense grid and is able to hit Goku. Now this is a big deal because Ultra Instinct Goku, True UI and Silver Haired UI are very difficult to hit. We've seen Black Frieza do it, but for Gohan to just power up and channel that energy into his speed, this Beast Gohan form is something special, because this guy can gather energy not just to do ki blasts and harden up his body for defenses and to do big attacks, but also to increase his speed. And that to me is extremely impressive. So when the fight ends at this point, Goku pretty much decides to put a pause on it. Now, some people are going to say, well, does that mean Goku lost? I don't know about that, but I do love that even Vegeta's freaking out that Gohan Beast was able to actually go past the evasive speed of Ultra Instinct. And Gohan himself says that this is currently the only way for him to actually draw out his maximum power. And that's crazy. That is nuts that Gohan was able to go beyond Ultra Instinct when it comes to speed. Even Whis and Beerus comment on it. And to me, this right here proves that what we said at the end of the Granola arc about there being somebody out there who might be stronger, or in this case, the strongest in the universe, seems to be about Gohan. And he also comments that Gohan Beast is not a divine technique like Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego are. I discussed this in my Gohan Beast Explained video, that Gohan's ability, his power is pure primal, something just for him, which is discussed in this chapter as well when Whis comments on that. So Broly is watching this and just completely freaking out. The fact that Broly's marking out over Gohan, who'd have thought that would have ever happened? Yo, I'm happy to see it. And Goku's about to go fight Gohan again. He goes into UI, but then he hears what Broly says. He looks over at him and he's like, wait, let's stop the fight. I already saw your power. I'm impressed. And of course, I love it. I love this. It's difficult to say if Gohan actually was stronger, but it is illustrated that he certainly might be. And again, some people have a problem with this. I'm used to Gohan getting power leaps, and I understand that it could be considered lazy writing. I get that. It's just Gohan's character has always kind of done stuff like this. You know what I mean? For better or for worse. So Goku, already getting enough of Gohan, calls over to Broly. So Goku wants Broly to fight. So yes, Gohan versus Broly, a fight that many of us wanted to see. We all wanted to see this one. You know, you've got the ultimate potential half-breed in Gohan versus the Saiyan mutant who was born with a ki that was beyond anything, Broly, going at it. You want to talk about potential? You want to talk about two guys who, you know, have some similarities? Here we go. And so we then go to Goku and Vegeta, where Goku tells Vegeta that he just wanted to check his strength. It was never about beating Gohan. But Goku says, glad to have more to look forward to. So it looks like Goku might want to either face off against Gohan in the future all out, or have Gohan on his team. But man, Universe 7 is scary strong right now. So we begin with Broly versus Gohan. At first, Gohan's just using Ultimate, and Broly's in his base form, and Gohan's able to kind of block him, and there's not really much there. But then Gohan goes Beast, and let me tell you, the panel where Gohan goes Beast is one of the rawest looking panels Toyotaro's ever done, man. When I see this panel, I think to myself, you know what? Rest in peace, Toriyama. I really hope that Dragon Ball's in good hands with Toyotaro. And when I see this, it's like, okay, you know what? Maybe it is. I'm not 100% sure yet because I don't think Toyotaro as a writer is Toriyama's level at all. I mean, that's just my opinion. But I think he's getting there and he might be the best choice for right now. But we'll see. We'll see what happens next in Dragon Ball without Toriyama. So Gohan, now in his beast form, goes after Broly and manages to punch. Broly blocks it though and then realizes, okay, this guy packs a punch. He packs a wallop. Then Gohan starts to rock Broly with some big shots. There's lightning going everywhere, yo. It's kind of like Super Saiyan 2, like how it was in the early days when Gohan was killing the Cell Juniors, except really, really amped up and maxed out. Broly starts to get smashed. But then what ends up happening is Broly powers up into Berserk, or so we think. So he transforms into Super Saiyan, but wait, is this really Berserk? Goku is quick to point out that, yes, Broly is a Super Saiyan, but not with the white eyes like he was in his Berserk mode when he was fighting Gogeta, which means that Gohan and the previous training with Vegeta and Goku and Beerus and Whis being there is what helped Broly finally control his anger. So this is a huge moment for the character. Vegeta himself says that Broly went Super Saiyan and then made it his own. And even Gohan is marking out like this is unlike anyone else's Super Saiyan. Now, a lot of folks have mistakenly called Broly's name Ikari. That is not the name of that form. It's Super Saiyan Berserk is the name of that form. It's a variant. It's a variant on Berserk, right? Ikari is the name of Trunks' transformation from the Trunks arc that he used in the anime. But Beerus is quick to point out that even though Broly is now controlling himself, Gohan still has better control. So that training with Piccolo he had off screen really helped. So they're going at it, right? But then what ends up happening is Vegeta wants to fight next. And Gohan's like, well, why does everybody want to fight me? Which I loved. I loved that. I thought that was awesome. You know, seeing Broly finally be able to control his power is awesome. I can't wait to see what he's going to do the next time the crew has to face off against an enemy. Maybe he'll actually work with them this time. We're all still waiting for that. So Vegeta decides to go ahead and fight, but we don't see much of it. This to me is probably the bigger letdown of the chapter. Vegeta jumps into the fight, and it's kind of like Vegeta and Broly against Gohan. Gohan's working him over for a little bit, but then Goten and Trunks jump into the fight. So it becomes this big sort of smosh between all of these Saiyans, and including even Goku. But then what ends up happening is everyone gets laid out. And it was pretty awesome. Like, I like seeing them all laid out. That was fun. They're all tired. But, man, I really wish we had more pages of the actual fight. It's a bummer. Like, that's one of the negatives of the chapter is that I wanted more pages. Granted, it's more so what I wanted. It's not really an objective criticism. But I think you agree with me, right? That it would have been more awesome if we saw, like, Ultra Ego Vegeta against Gohan Beast and actually have Vegeta use that power where Gohan's hitting him and Vegeta's absorbing it. Like, there's so much potential to have awesome fights, but it could be that Toyotaro is saving them for later. I mean, that's the big thing. So once that's over, they all have food together because Dragon Ball arcs have to end with food. They actually show the Red Ribbon Army there eating with them at the dinner table. Lemo, of course, being the best cooker. And what ends up happening is, and this to me is another flaw. I think there's another negative of this chapter, and that is Vegeta forgetting the Red Ribbon Army. That's weird to me. Did Android 18 like kick Vegeta so hard that he fucked up his brain or something? Because I don't really understand how Vegeta could forget Red Ribbon if he fought 18 knowing she was from Red Ribbon, Trunks told him about it, and he fought Cell. It ain't like he just forgot about Cell. So there's weird writing here. I guess Toyotaro's whole thing is he wants to make it seem like Goku and Vegeta just don't care about anything from the past. But I find it a really weird choice. I don't like Vegeta not remembering Red Ribbon, but that's not all. That is not the only thing about this chapter that I didn't like. There's about 3 things. I already gave you 2. There's one more coming. I'm very fair with these reviews, man, because these 3 things I didn't like, Besides those three things, I love this chapter. And I still like it overall, but there were three things I didn't like. I'll go over the third one here in just a moment. So what ends up happening is the whole crew decides to leave Beerus' planet and go back home, so they hop in the Red Ribbon ship. So this is the first time that Goku and Vegeta have left Beerus' planet since the Granola arc, and they were there most of the time training. So they left for a moment, though, to go fight Granola, but now they're going back to Earth, and we haven't seen them on Earth since the Moro arc, so that's cool. But it really does feel like a nice sort of send-off. There has not been any confirmation or any announcement that Dragon Ball Super is going to be ending in the manga. As far as we know, it's going to continue because we have Black Frieza and whatever else they have cooking up over there. So I'm not saying Super's ending here, but if it did end, it would actually not be the worst, aside from, of course, Black Frieza being an open plot thread. It would not be the worst part to end it on, because I love how Goku leaves the planet and Beerus is like, don't come back. And Goku's like, I'll be back soon. So, yeah. So, first they go to Piccolo's, right? And that's interesting. So, they go see Piccolo, who hasn't seen Goku in a while, and they briefly discuss Piccolo's new power upgrade, Piccolo's new orange Piccolo form and how he's mastered it. So, what ends up happening is the Red Ribbon are there. I'm talking about Soldier 15 and Carmine, and they both say they're going to stop doing evil from now on. But do we really believe that? Do you think they're actually going to turn good and leave everybody alone? Leave a comment down below and let me know if you think that. Remember to leave a like too, because it does help out this video and it does help out the channel, and you know I appreciate that very much. So Carmine and 15 leave, and this is the part that really bugged me. The third thing. So Goku forgot that he had a granddaughter. Like, he forgot. He straight up was like, Pan, and I don't like that. I don't like that because it's not like Goku would ever forget a family member. We know that he actually saw, that he's actually been with. That's number one. Number two, this is obviously not when him and Pan bond. We see that happen at some point between this and the end of Z tournament. But it's still stupid. I'm sorry. I know some of y'all are okay with it, but I think it's stupid for Goku to forget Pan. People always say that Goku is dumber in Dragon Ball Super than he was in Dragon Ball or Z. This is an example right here of Goku actually being too dumb to where it doesn't make sense. That makes no sense. So Piccolo, who may have been just as mad as everyone else was, he says, well, for punishment, you have to come with me to pick her up. So the Red Ribbon leave, and they're saying we're going to make any money anyway, so whatever. Then they go pick up Pan from school. This is like a scene right out of Superhero. You can tell it's an epilogue. Goku is there with Pan, and what ends up happening is Pan does not seem to recognize Goku's ki. So she ends up warping. It's not really teleporting, it's just super fast speed over to Goku to try and hit him with a cheap shot, and Goku blocks the shot. Now, I do like this. This is sort of like the beginning of Goku and Pan's bonding, because when Goku blocks the shot and smiles at her, she smiles back. So it looks like they're going for that bonding that Goku and Pan have. If you remember the end of Z, Pan is very close to Goku. So whatever's coming next, whether it be a little mini arc before the end of Z or the end of Z, it seems like this is where that all started, where Goku and Pan's relationship started. Then the chapter comes to a close with a reminder of a hiatus and Piccolo saying goodbye to everyone as they all go home. Very wholesome finish to the chapter and to the story. And basically they talk about at the bottom that Toriyama passed away, and the entire V-Jump editorial staff is saddened. The whole world is saddened that this man passed away, and they pray for his soul to rest in peace. So Dragon Ball Super's on hiatus. It's not over yet. Didn't say it was over, but they're going to take a little break starting next month. Hopefully it'll be just for 1 month, because I want to know what's next. What do you think is next? Let me know in the comments down below. And remember, we'll be discussing this on the stream this coming Wednesday. But for now, this chapter was very good except for those three things. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you very soon.